please subscribe to my channel. I will show you more excellent movies. Subscription is the greatest support for me. Thank you. This is a true story of the father's self-salvation in search of his son. Lei was riding a motorcycle and was waiting for a cruise ship. Lei was very tired after long riding and had fallen asleep leaning on the motorcycle, but the flag on the back of the motorcycle attracted the attention of people around him. It was a missing person notice. Lei's son was abducted by human traffickers when he was 2 years old. He should be 17 now. The person next to him persuaded him that after so many years, he might not know him even if he saw him again. He didn't mind everyone's words. He still sent the missing person notice to the people he was dealing with. After so many years of searching, although he had the idea of giving up, he cheered up again when he thought that the child was still waiting for him. Now this trip he is going from Anhui to Fujian. An enthusiastic friend left a message on the internet. There is an adopted boy in Fujian with scars on his feet. This mark is the main clue for him to find his son. The mountain road was too narrow. He collided with the truck on the opposite side. Fortunately, he was not injured. When he woke up and found a young man helping him repair his motorcycle, he found the missing person notice and the map. The red ones on the map. The point is to find the place where his son has walked. The young man did not charge the car repair fee, so he recorded it in a notebook, which recorded the help of others to him. On the highway, he was stopped by the police. It turned out that he was walking in the wrong direction. The police told him the correct route and secretly gave him $200. He was very grateful and recorded it in the notebook. Finally he found the boy. The boy couldn't remember the past, and the scar on his foot was on his right foot, not the left foot in Lei's memory. He was very disappointed and could only leave sadly, but he felt that perhaps he had remembered it wrong. He returned again to find the boy and wanted to take the boy to do a paternity test, but was beaten by the boy's adoptive mother and fell into the water and climbed out of the seawater. He found that the motorcycle had been soaked in seawater and the engine had broken down. The young man at the car repair shop told him that the car had broken down. His name was Joe. He was also a kidnapped child. When he was 4 years old, he was abducted by a trafficker. Now all he can remember is Zhuqiao and his mother's long hair. Joe saw Lei looking for his son. He suddenly thought of his biological parents. He asked Lei why he was not responsible for his children. Lei told him that he and his wife contracted the orchard, and his grandmother took care of his son, but he lost the child. Joe once thought that his parents had abandoned him and hated them very much. Hearing Lei's answer, Joe suddenly wanted to find his biological parents. So the two people became partners, working, washing the dishes, washing the car, earning travel expenses, reprinting the missing person notice, a motorcycle, 2 people, and continuing the journey of finding relatives. The first destination was Sichuan, and I found the bamboo bridge in Joe's memory. However, after arriving at the destination, Joe realized that this was not the bridge in his memory. But now that he had already arrived, Joe decided to meet this mother who was waiting for his son to return. Her son has been lost for 19 years, but Lei discouraged him. He told Joe that there were more than 400 mothers because they could not find their children. Some have gone mad, some have died, and some are still looking for. Among them was a mother who had been looking for a child for 10 years and found a child who looked a lot like that. He took home and lived and looked after the child for 3 years. Later, his biological parents took the child away, and the child was taken away on the 3rd day. The mother couldn't hold on anymore and committed suicide. Knowing that they are not the biological parents, but insisting on seeing each other is the cruelest thing for mothers who are looking for children. Joe gave up meeting. He didn't want to make more people miserable. Later, Joe saw more online photos which were not the bridge in his memory. Joe was about to give up. At this moment, Lei encouraged him to stick to it. Even though sometimes they had the idea of giving up, they were still firm after the quarrel. Continue to look for loved ones. Joe has no household registration, no ID card, no school, no plane, no bank card, and no marriage. He wants to go home, but Lei is different. He doesn't want to go home and dare not face his mother and wife. His mother has always been living in self-blame, and the wife living in anticipation is also suffering. He can only keep searching. Joe's home was finally found. The police contacted his parents and arranged a time to let him talk to them on the phone. The phone was connected. The father said in a trembling voice, "Son, I am your father." And then he burst into tears and Joe ran away. After going out, he too wanted to know the reason for his loss, but he didn't dare to ask, because he was afraid that what he heard was not the answer he had hoped for. Lay asked the reason. It turned out that Joe was lost when he was going to the market in the countryside, not abandoned. On the day when he officially returned home, everyone from the village came, holding a banner, welcoming him home, and seeing his identity. Joe felt a little bit crying and even felt a little strange. He finally saw his parents, hugged and cried. Lay stood in the crowd and smiled relievedly. Joe has a new name, has his own ID, and can also take the train. He left the motorcycle to Lay, hoping that he will continue to look for his son. Lay continued to set off, and met a group of monks on the way. In the evening, he asked the monks if he could tell me, "Can I find my child?" The monk raised his head and replied, "If he finds it, it means fate, and if he can't find it means no fate." Lay asked again, "Then, is the son still alive?" The monk continued to answer, "Do more good deeds, and fate will come." Lost in Love is a Chinese movie released in 2015. This is a true story. Lay's son was abducted and sold when he was 2 years old. Later, Lay started looking for a child, and some of the abducted children were found, but the mother of the child could not wait. The child jumped into the river in disappointment and committed suicide. The child went home, but still lost his parents. There were also many who did not find the child. Some gave up searching, and some continued to search. Time will dilute some pain. Some people give birth to new children, and some people spend their time on the day when the child is lost. There is no right or wrong for parents to choose differently, but only those who have experienced it can understand this kind of day. The feeling of falling down.